Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We are certainly in the season of giving, and today I have a gift for you. Me and good friend of mine, Shal of 10, are going to be putting Sonic things and characters into iconic video game covers. So let's not waste any more time and just get right into it. First up is Final Fantasy VII. Now this cover is stupid iconic. The 3D render of Cloud, the white background, the logo, the tall imposing building, all of these things come together to make a really iconic and clean looking cover. It doesn't overdo it, it keeps things really simple, and that is what makes it so great. It is really just, it's simple. It focuses on the character and gives you a few context clues about an environment. That's it. It keeps things really, really simple. And so I wanted to make sure I kept that in my version of it. So let's think. We got main character with the sword. What's the Sonic equivalent of that? Well, the first thing you gotta think is Black Knight, so that's exactly what I did. Now, I did find it really difficult to pose Sonic's arm that's holding Caliburn. It was really hard. Even now, I'm not sure if it looks quite right. With Sonic's quills being so big and his hand just kind of being, it's really hard to get him to hold a sword like this. The quills were really getting in the way, but I think I managed to get something that doesn't look too awkward. And also for the Sonic model I'm using, which is Dokatsu's True Sonic, shout out, it's fantastic by the way. While I love the materials that this model has, it just doesn't fit this sort of old, kind of nostalgic 3D rendering style, like super simple shading and not very complex materials. So I ended up removing all of the materials and just gave it some basic colors with a little bit of shine on it. And I think that really enhanced the very nostalgic look that I wanted this to have. It needed to look like an older 3D render, and I think I achieved that pretty well. And then for the background, I just downloaded the Camelot Castle model from Black Knight and just got a few little renders from it, turned it black and white, and did some erasing, and that was about it. Then I slapped the logo in there, added a little PS1 little strip on the side, and there we go. That's it. This is my version of Final Fantasy VII. It's not too complicated, it's just a simple remake of just swapping out the ideas. We've got Sonic here just holding the sword, and we've got Camelot Castle in the background. Next up is Black Ops 2. Now I am really, really happy with this one. This one wasn't too complicated, but I'm really happy with the lighting and shading and post-production work I did to make this look really cool. So, it was pretty simple to render. I just got shadow posed in here and I just grabbed the gun from Black Ops 2. I didn't even do anything crazy, I just directly got the gun. Posed him up, which did actually take longer than I thought it would. I needed to make sure the facial expression was right, and him holding the gun didn't cover his face or look super awkward. So while this cover isn't too complicated and was overall pretty simple to get done, I did run into a little bit of a roadblock. It's these two light rays coming from the left. I was sure that I could just do it in post, not doing it within the render itself, but I wanted to try it and see if I could do it in Blender. But it just ended up not really being worth it, because then I'd have to do all these volumes and it would just be kind of complicated to end up getting it right. And so I ended up just doing it in post, but there was a good amount of time I spent just trying to dial in some volumes to see if I could get it to work, but I ended up getting something realistic. But in this case, I didn't really want realistic. I wanted to be able to really dial it in to make it look exactly how I wanted it to look, and doing volumes really just wasn't looking right. So I brought it into post, I added a bunch of dust effects, and then added these two light rays in, and it ended up looking great. I'm super happy with this one. I think it has the same energy as the original, and really isn't that different. It's just shadow in there, that's about it. But I just knew that it would work, and it really did.
Thank you very much, Cheeto, for having me on this video again. I made art again. I know how much you guys love when I do that. GDubA has tasked me with making 3 art pieces. And we're gonna start off by talking about GTA 3. Now, fun fact, originally this is going to be GTA 5, but I just like the style of GTA 3's a bit more, and I think it's a bit more iconic than the GTA 5 one. It's just way more striking, and the characters and how they're positioned feels way more stylized, with all of them having a bit more of a cel-shaded color, with them having maybe 2 or 3 tones of color. And if you are keen-eyed, you will notice that this is actually a mix of GTA, but also it could be used for Sonic Adventure 2, which was kind of my idea going into this. And I think it also kind of fits with GTA as a whole. I think, a game about doing crime, the game where Sonic gets arrested by the police in the first second of the game, I think it's pretty fitting. I did try to keep the similar position of characters a bit more like GTA 5. You can see Rouge is where the lady in the bikini is supposed to be. Sonic is where I think Michael is supposed to be. Tails is where Franklin is, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it should line up with the GTA 5 characters, despite it being the GTA 3 box art. But in the end, I really like how this came out, and probably my second favorite one.
After all that, we have God of War 2. Now, I love this box art. It's great. All the other God of War box arts show Kratos' face in some way. But the American box art for God of War 2, they were pretty bold to decide to not show Kratos' face at all. We only see him from the back. And I think that that is really cool. The confidence to not show your character's face is something you don't see a lot. And I think this cover really benefits from it. We also get to see these little rocks at the bottom, then we see this big fog coming up, and then we see the giant temple here. This cover sort of has a similar energy to Final Fantasy VII to me. I mean, it's the same sort of thing. You've got protagonist, and then they're looking towards one of the main locations in the game. And I love this sort of cover format. It really works. And I think God of War 2 does it especially well because Kratos is fully centered. He is the main focus. The lighting is also amazing on Kratos here because we get to see this really nice outline that just shows Kratos' silhouette really well. And so, of course, with this one, it was pretty obvious. I had to go the Werehog, the God of War ripoff from Sonic. And with the Werehog, I got this model, but I ran into a major roadblock. I needed him to have fur. So this was an opportunity where I took a solid hour and just kind of looked into how to make good-looking fur in Blender. So while this isn't perfect, I'm sure it could be better. I'm definitely happy with it and just gives a lot of texture to the way the Werehog looks. He doesn't look flat here, which was the main thing I wanted to fix. I also had to do a lot with the lighting, and I wanted to kind of get some of that same rim lighting that Kratos has, but there wasn't really a great way for me to get it to be nearly as strong as it is in God of War 2, but I got some rim lighting that I think looks pretty nice. As for the background, it was honestly pretty annoying. The background is Eggman Land. I thought this would be really fitting and would be a really big twist on the cover. I wanted to do one that was extremely different, and it isn't just simply replacing things. It offers something totally new, and that's what I wanted to do with this one. So with Eggman Land, I thought the main thing that I would focus on is the giant Eggman like neon light in the sky. I thought this would be like the main thing to focus on, and boy does it look cool. But man, I can't lie, it was really annoying to get this done because man, I had to import all the textures because I got the Eggman Land model, right? And I just imported it was in Blender, right? It's all great, but goodness gracious, dude, all the materials were screwed up, so I had to reassign all the materials, man. It took me like 2 hours to assign all of these materials, dude. Like, it was actually mad annoying. But once I got all that done, I rendered it out, and I did a lot in post. A lot of fog, a lot of effects, a lot of gradients, all types of stuff. And once I got done with it, I'm pretty happy with this one. This is my Sonic version of God of War 2, and I think it looks, it's pretty good.
Up next, we have Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, this one I was kind of mixed on, because it's going to be very jarring having Sonic on a Mario box art. So in my head, I'm like, okay, how are we going to do this? I could just go the route of just making Sonic have the pose, or at least a similar pose, and then just calling it a day, slapping the Mario 3 assets on there, and boom. But I wanted to take it a step further than that. I wanted Sonic to take over the box art. He crosses out Mario's name and replaces it with his own. He replaces the Nintendo seal of approval with the Sega one. He scratches over the text and writes over Mario Who. I had it say something a bit worse before. And obviously replacing the Nintendo Entertainment System logo with the Sega Genesis logo. And I think this whole style of Sonic completely vandalizing the Mario box art and just taking it over is just kind of in line with the Mario and Sonic rivalry that happened in the 90s. And I think, playing on that idea with this box art, with Sonic completely ruining Mario's box art, is just a really funny idea. So I'm happy with how this came out. Very much so.
After that, we have Skate 3. Now this cover is really cool because you've got the Skate logo and then you've got the 3 on the skateboard itself. And I wanted to recreate some of that, but it was a little difficult to get the 3 working because I did want to swap the skateboard out with an extreme gear, so there wasn't really a great place to put the 3, but I think I managed to get it to work. And in this cover, we also see 2 other characters hanging out in the background, and I wanted to do that in my version. So who did I decide? Shadow and Silver. Definitely not just because those are the only other Dokatsu models I have. That's definitely not the reason. So I got them set up, did some posing, and managed to get some sort of decent city looking in the background. It was kind of hard to get this to work. I'm not even sure. I think I could make this look a little better in retrospect with the city, but I wasn't really able to find much that I think could work and wouldn't blow up my computer. So I managed to render this out and got to work editing it in post. I used a lot of gradients, a lot of effects, and some bloom on the fire. Yes, I know that the extreme gear is supposed to be air powered, but fire is cooler. I don't care. So I got to work on that. I added the 3 in there. I think it works, you know? It's close enough, I guess. One thing I am really happy about is the effects I put on Silver's gloves here to give him that feeling like he's flying. I think this actually looks really cool. I think the clouds I added look pretty nice, and I just think it overall looks really good. And so this is my version of Skate 3.
Oh, saving me for last, GDub. You shouldn't have. Well, the very last one we have to talk about, which is probably my favorite one in this entire video, no bias, I promise, is the Red Dead Redemption 2 box art. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favorite video games of all time, so I really wanted to do this box art justice. I love this art style so much because in reality, it's very similar to the Sonic channel art that we see nowadays. It's very harsh shading, but there's no lines, it's not super detailed, and it relies a lot on light. And I think converting the Red Dead 2 box art style to the Sonic channel box art style was actually pretty easy. And also, Cowboy Sonic was a slam dunk because they had the Sheriff Sonic for Sonic Forces speed battle, I'm pretty sure. So I already had the design. It was just a matter of getting him onto the box art. Drawing it was probably the most technically challenging part of this whole video out of all the box arts I've done, especially when it came to the revolver and doing the lighting on that. That was really hard to get down. But I think I did a pretty good job at replicating how it looks in the original Red Dead box art. And once I got Sonic on there, I was basically 80% done. All I had to do was get the background, get the sun, and if you look at the bottom, you could see Sonic's friends, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, Rouge, and Shadow down there. And add the logo, add the stars on the bottom, and there you have it. A replication of Red Dead Redemption 2's box art with Sonic. This one doesn't have any crazy meaning or anything. It's just really nice. I think it's really nice to look at. I mean, this is 100% my favorite one I've done. Again, Red Dead 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Besides Final Fantasy VII, which is already on this video, being my favorite game of all time, this is a close second to me. And I am very happy with how this came out. And thank you, GDub, for giving me the opportunity to even draw this and, you know, giving me the excuse to draw it.
And so that is about it for this video. Huge shout out to Shallow10 for making some fantastic art for this video. These are great. They're awesome. Seriously. Please go check out his stuff. And so, saying all that, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless.